All right, I'm Marc Stoudemire. We're almost at the end of our second season, but I'm excited about our guest today, Dave Primiano. Dave is a close friend of mine here in the comedy scene. I don't have that many friends, so I appreciate Dave Primiano. Not only is he a good friend, but he's also a great comic. We discuss how he constructs some of his very dark jokes and how they are incredibly topical and unique and just all around hilarious. Dave is the host of a popular podcast that you have to check out called The Rank Bank, which you can get wherever you get your podcasts. So without further ado, let's sit down and talk with my friend Dave Primiano. And now let's get to the joke.
I'm sure everyone in this room's been following the election. I gotta admit, I'm not. I actually tried this time around, but then I saw they asked one of the candidates, if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, would you do it? I was like, alright, no, I'm not watching this shit. Like, come on, this is the presidency, not fucking Comic-Con. Why are we asking sci-fi based questions to these people? Like, although I would watch a debate where they ask nothing but sci-fi questions, I'd love to see, like, Mr. Candidate, if John Carpenter's the Thing identifies as a male, but inhabits the body of a female, what bathroom should it be able to use? And follow-up question, if a Cylon can learn how to love, why can't a Muslim? But like the Hitler question's always been stupid to me, because like the answer should clearly be no. Because like if you think about it this way, if you go back and kill baby Hitler, that means you've erased him from the history books. How do you go back in time and report your mission? Like, hey guys, I did it. I killed baby Hitler. Like, yeah, we don't know what a Hitler is, but did you just say you killed a fucking baby? What the fuck is wrong with you? No. This guy was a real monster, responsible for killing so many Jews. Like, yeah, there's only one monster here, baby killer. And it sounds like you're the reason these Jews have been running rampant these past few decades. Now they control all the banks and the media.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. You know me. I'm the same all the time. I don't have a wide range of emotions or.
But you're still out doing. You're still doing mics. You're still doing shows for whatever shows are out there at this point.
Hell yeah! I've been going after every stage I can.
Good, man.
I don't worry about my health.
have you had COVID? Have you gotten COVID? Okay. Because are you still?
No, I'm being safe about everything. Like, I'm following all the rules. I'm not like being reckless.
Yeah.
No, the only reckless thing is, I guess, how often I do it. But
well, I was gonna say, like, don't you also drive for Uber?
Occasionally,
okay.
Like, I haven't as of late, but I mean, like, because I'm worried. Like, I might need to start again. But like right now, I have enough saved up. But like it's just so much mileage on my car because there's nothing like back when before quarantine I had to drive like 10 minutes to get to any stage. Now I'm going like an hour every night out of the way, and my car's an '05, so it can't handle that much of a beating.
Okay, all right. Well, cool, man. Well, I'm glad you're doing all right, dude. And first of all, I appreciate you doing this, man. I really do. I don't know what my perception is with other people, but I am not a good hang, and I kind of latch on to those who I really enjoy talking to, and unfortunately, you're one of those people who I really like. Like I'm very standoffish, very shy, but when I see you, I like gravitate
That's
right to
probably why
you.
we get along.
You were very apprehensive about doing this. It took a little bit of convincing, a little bit of prodding, a little bit of batting my eyes to get you to do this. Is there a reason that you don't like talking about yourself?
I would have said no to pretty much anyone else, but I do love you. So.
Oh well, thank you. I love you too, man.
You got the. I mean, okay. I have a bunch of reasons.
Okay, I like to hear all of them.
I consider I am a pretty private person, so like what what I let people know about me is like in the stand up, which I get to control the tempo of. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm being asked questions, I have to go outside of that. But I trust you not to delve into my psyche.
Well, no. Well, no. I find you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Plus, I'm not like a great speaker. I know that's a weird thing. Like, so like I'm gonna I can sound articulate on stage, but like just spitballing.
Yeah, but
I don't.
But this is all about you, man. I hope you know at least, I'm not going to ask you anything that's going to be like...
I know, that's my least favorite topic.
I guess, let me start with this question first. In a chicken and the egg situation, what came first? The realization that you knew you were funny and could make a room full of people laugh, or that stand-up comedy was a career that could be pursued? Do you know which one came first?
Yeah, that I could make people laugh.
Okay.
I started when I was 27, but I've been I was a goofy kid right off the bat. Like there's pictures from my mom had on the fridge at her old house. I don't know if she still has it, of a classroom when I was in kindergarten, and I was in the background making a goofy face while everyone else took it seriously, dumb shit like that. Yeah, I always liked the idea of it, but I kind of always rather been a background writer person.
Why so?
I was actually huh?
Why is that the preferred path, to be more in the background, not the center of attention? Because you can't be more alone in stand up, being one person on stage. I get
to stretch that creative muscle.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people still don't talk to me afterward, which is fine, but because I guess I come off like a sociopath sometimes.
No, I don't think that. I think I like your style because you like to take uncomfortable subject matter and make it funny. It's a very hard. You have to be good, which you are, at doing that, because then you and I can think of some comics, which we won't name, that go for that kind of material, but it's more shock value and less funny, where you always are working to find that punchline.
Well, that's why, edgy, that's what I hate now about comedy, because 99% of those people do suck.
Uh-huh.
And it's turned edgy into a bad word.
Yeah.
Now people, if you hear someone mention something as edgy, they mean it negatively. But I think edgy is a neutral word, and there could be good edgy and bad edgy.
Exactly.
But yeah, the bad edgy just way outweighs the good stuff. But a lot of the good stuff has to start as the bad stuff too. That's what the open mics are for. You get a feeling you find out I word it this way. Oh, that's racist.
Yeah.
I need to change the wording. Roll my eyes when I say it, so the irony is clear in it that I'm not saying a serious statement right now about X people or whatever. Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, so you're very much in your own head. You're very much worried about how someone will perceive even material that's so raw that you had just come up with. You're very worried about how that comes off. But I kind of want to touch. Yeah. I kind of want to touch on you're saying I don't like talking a lot about my private life, but that's and you like to be a writer, which is more in the background than a stand-up. But you mentioned as a young kid that you were this goofy kind of class clown. You wanted that kind of reaction, whether you're doing funny faces in the picture, or I don't know, did you act out in class? Did you just did you blurt out things just to be funny kind of deal, or?
No, I never like really. I wasn't like a troublemaker or anything.
Not a troublemaker,
Like
but just like
I guess I was goofy in the appropriate setting. Like I mean, when I say like I mean just like to every like I have like my friends and
yeah.
like yeah, you're different around than you are strangers.
Okay. Like, was being funny a defense mechanism? Like, were you picked
Oh,
on as a kid, and did you being funny kind of get you out of being, in a
like a little
bad
bit.
situation? Okay. Do you recall any of those situations?
I mean, I've never like not particularly like I like I mean like not like by like everybody like
Mm-hmm.
maybe like one or two people like messed with me, but like yeah, like I never like got seriously like beaten up or shit like
Okay.
that. But like yeah, I never like made people angry to the point, and like I don't get angry.
Yeah.
That's one thing people that have known me my entire life. Like I've never seen you angry, so I've never. Yeah, I will like anytime like something does. I always try to diffuse things with a joke. And
Yeah.
I've always been okay at that.
So, I mean, I relate very much, and it's not maybe when you get picked on, cases like myself, it's not always because you made somebody angry. Sometimes you're just a target for people. You know what I mean?
But
Sometimes
yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason. Maybe you're just smaller. Like I was kind of always smaller for my
yeah. I
age.
mean, I was normal sized.
Hmm.
Nerd-ish, but not outwardly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you could tell like the nerdy kids.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of the same ideology as them, but I didn't. I never looked the part.
Okay. Well.
Like yeah, I had the headgear, but I got to only wear that at nights. That
Ditto.
was a big saver.
Well, so where do you think your sense of humor came from? Are either your parents like really funny, or were either your parents like super
I
into stand-up
think
comedy that you just like kind of related with?
I think like it's kind of a mixture of both because I think like my mom actually is like because nobody knows this about her because she's like a very reserved person,
Hmm.
but she's got like a really dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
My dad was more boisterous with his humor. Like
Hmm.
he was the one that would always like tell jokes at the parties, but he'd tell like old street jokes and shit. Like
Yeah.
he'd like maybe like try to put his own spin on them, but
So they both had
they
sense
were
of
old
humor.
street
They
jokes.
they both they
Yeah.
both appreciated people recognizing their humor. Your dad seemed like a life of
Well,
the
no,
party guy, and your mother seemed like kind of like you, like throwing those quick, witty comments in
yeah.
between sentences just to keep people on their toes. I can appreciate
But
that.
nobody knows this about my mom, really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people met your mom. I mean, I sure
But
haven't.
yeah,
But
so I think like the way I present the humor is more
Mhm.
like my dad, but like the quality of humor probably it comes more from my mom.
Did your parents seen you perform at all?
Um, my mom, my mom's been like, yeah, she comes out all the time. My dad passed away before I even. My dad, I started at like 27. My dad passed away when I was 23. So,
Oh wow, what did he die of?
cancer.
Oh wow. Now, so is there a correlation between your dad dying at 23 and then you starting to do stand up at 27? Was something like you've always wanted to do stand up and now your father died? I mean, it sounds like you're a young guy. I'm assuming he probably died, youngish or whatever. Did that kind of jot in your head like, oh shit, any day my ticket could be punched. I want to start doing comedy. Is that something maybe?
No, not
Okay.
so much. Yeah, my young 20s were just a big party. But yeah, I mean, it was like I did like I mean I actually yeah I've always like written stuff down. Like I actually like tried to like work with a buddy to write like a TV pilot kind of thing, and we pumped out like 20 some episodes,
Okay.
and then we were like I don't know what to do from this point, and then he ended up moving to Arizona to like
Oh
for
wow.
like a family thing. And then like so I was like, all right, well I'm gonna just take the stuff I've written and do something with it. And that's pretty much where I got my start.
Okay. Now wait. So
Yeah.
was your show like really dark? Because your humor is that of touchier subject matter. Was the show along those lines?
It was basically an Always Sunny ripoff.
I love
It
it.
was probably crap. But like I always wrote like like I always wrote like he was good at like plot stuff, and I was always good at just getting characters sidetracked with dumb crap. So like, dumb crap, it didn't fit into anything else surrounding it. So it was just stuff that I could just like any like bits of dialogue, I could just make it all my own.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so when did you if you can think as far back, when did you get exposed to stand up? I mean, were either your parents like into like Bill Cosby albums or like comedy
my mom. I mean, my mom has that. Like, I mean, it's mostly like classic rock in her collection. She's got like a great record collection. But I think there was like a George Carlin Class Clown,
Yeah.
and my dad had this like just this VHS tape he showed me. It had like an old Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy Delirious, the Richard Pryor, and a Buddy Hackett. We watched that all. Like,
How old were you when he showed you this? Because those are all like really R-rated kind of comics.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, he was a weekend dad. So like,
Okay. Oh, your parents were split up. I didn't know that.
they split up a month after I was born.
Interesting. Interesting.
I mean, it doesn't affect me. I couldn't picture them together.
Well, wait, are you the oldest? And I know you have
No.
a sister, right?
I have an older brother.
Oh, an older brother. Okay. So
No, he was produced out of love. I was. They wanted two kids. That was the deal. Then they stopped loving each other, and they were gonna split up. And my mom's like, "Wait, I said two kids." So I was more like a transaction.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So, I mean, you say like you put in there, oh, it doesn't affect me. I don't know if I 100% believe that because just by the fact that you said it doesn't affect me makes me go, I mean, have you?
It's weird, I guess, because like, yeah, they were a loving family when they had my brother, and now he's got like a wife, two kids, and I'm more of a transaction, and I'm more robotic. And
well, do you think that? Do you think that? Do you think there's a correlation where maybe your brother, was more surrounded by two parents that loved each other, and it's always been your head like, I was born like the month I was born, they split up. Was that me? Was there anything like that going on with you?
No, I don't blame myself for that.
Okay.
I mean, it can't have been that great. He's 3 years older than me, so they must have been fighting.
Yeah.
Like for a good portion of that. Like he's not super normal either, but I mean, he's a tough one to describe though, so I don't try to.
Okay. Well, I'm trying. I'm trying to figure you out, Dave, because you are talented. You are a talented comic. I don't know if you I think you see what you do as unique and like you're one of the few that can do what you do. But how do you see yourself? Do you like yourself?
I like. I mean, yeah, I like what I do on stage. I wish I was better at the off-stage aspects of it.
Well, what off-stage stuff do you wish you were better at?
Just like putting myself out there, being like, "Hey, book me for your show." Like, I try to treat it like it's this big fair process. Like in my head, I just wish it was like some meritocracy where if I do the best, then I get opportunities based off that. Not if I want to hang out with people. Like, I'm old now. I don't want to hang out with people.
I can totally relate. Yeah.
They all do drugs. I don't get into all that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. It's interesting.
Coke for the first time.
There's definitely a dichotomy within you. You said, I like myself on stage, but I wish I could be better off stage. Now, what do you think is preventing you from being more? It sounds like it's a confidence thing. It sounds like I don't want to reach out to people because almost like you're afraid of being like, no, you're just not good enough for whatever you're asking for, kind of thing. But you're a great comic.
Yeah, I don't doubt that I am. I don't know. It's just, I guess, I also just hate the idea, like, of bothering people. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're not really bothering people. I mean, Is this something that you grew up with, where people have always kind of, where your confidence has always been shaken, where people kind of shut you down when you would say things, or kind of corrected you in your behavior, and you just kind of kept because even at the very beginning of this conversation, when you were talking about you're worried about the stuff you say, and then you start going through all this stuff that goes through your head. I mean, your mind is very busy with worry. Was there a constant, were people hard on you growing up, and that's why you kind of are now, the confidence is shaken?
I think when I started comedy, I was great at putting myself, like, I think I did, like, I had overconfidence when I started comedy. And so I did always put myself out there, but I wasn't ready for the stuff I was getting. And I blew so many, so many of my first club experiences were just eating shit.
Yeah, but that's everybody, though. I mean, no one comes out the gate being like super fantastic. I mean, Dave Chappelle's the only one I can ever think of that they said started really good. I mean, but everyone eats shit, coming, in the first 5 or 6 years of their career.
I don't know. I guess I just try to go with like a certain amount of like self-awareness. Like I never want to I do worry about overselling myself, because I just like that's the thing I see on social media. Just some people like hype up every open mic they do, like it's an HBO special. And like I think, wow, that person was terrible last time I saw them. They got really good. And then I see them again and they are still terrible. So I feel like as long as I like am down on myself, though, I'm always going to get better.
I see. Like, you set the bar real low. But
I equate confidence with like hearing laughs that aren't there.
Okay, but I'm not even talking about you keep your, and I think this is probably the first thing you said to me. Like you said I'm a very private person. Well, part of what I'm going to try to do here is kind of break that down a little bit. But you keep going to the stage. You keep saying, hey, I'm trying to lean you towards what's going on off the stage, and you keep trying to revert it back to, hey, I'm not, I'm trying to put you back over here, kind of being like, what was it that, I mean, has this always been a thing in high school? Were you the guy that would, did you like never ask somebody out because you were afraid they would say no, or you never took opportunities because you thought you wouldn't be good at them? Like, was this in your head thing a reoccurring decision for you? And don't bring up stand-up comedy.
I guess I never really did ask anyone. I always did. All my relationships started off some drunken hookup.
I mean, so what is with this confidence thing? Is this were your teachers hard on you, or was it like your parents hard on you, or was your brother hard on you? Mean,
they should have been. No, I was a terrible student. But no, I think, I mean, yeah, I kind of like, I guess I was like the butt of some jokes from time to time, but like, I always, try to like avoid that. So like, I always just rather just jump in at opportune moments. Yeah. So I guess I've never been a put myself out there type.
Okay.
Except when I was drunk, which I guess explains why I was so much more confident in my 20s, because I was all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if when people give you compliments, is that hard for you? When people are like, man, you're really good. Does that make you kind of cringe and kind of shy away? You kind of like almost a negativity? Maybe someone shouts like, you suck. Maybe you're more like into that than someone coming up and saying they really appreciated your comedy?
Well, it's like a thing I realized, like it's more like I'm always going to be my worst critic when it comes to this stuff anyway, because I did realize it recently, like even at the last show I did with you, like I thought I got a decent reception. Oops, sorry, just had dinner.
That's all right.
But like I was kind of rusty because that was like like my third after not doing it. So like I had just forgotten to do like an entire bit or whatever. So I walked off pissed at myself, and people like would come on me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But I forget, if I fuck up like a tag, or they don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Just a quick plug and we'll get right back to the show. Have you checked out my website, markstod.com? It gives you a whole wealth of information on how to see me live at shows. You can catch past Get to the Joke episodes and bonus content. And you can also check out some stand-up videos for myself. Please check out my website. Again, that's markstod.com. marcstaud.com. Come see me live. Also, please, once again, subscribe to this channel, like our videos, leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Now let's get back to the joke. Well, I mean, I just, it's interesting because I always kind of assumed that you always had this kind of like, that you always thought that, I always thought like, hey, Dave kind of is the secret, like, smart guy in the room. Like, you always know what's going on before it happens. But now I'm just second guessing whether you think that about yourself or always.
Well, no, a lot of the audiences I do. I that's a low opinion of the audiences, though. If I think I'm the smartest person in the room,
I do.
Because I've been told I have a dumb guy persona too, and I was like, or like someone like, I love the dumb guy persona you do, and I was like, didn't know that's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, to do the kind of material you do takes a special, like we talked about this a little bit already. It takes a special kind of finesse, and you're able to keep the audience from turning on you, but at the same time, you don't let them get too comfortable in their chair. And that's really an art. And I don't know if you realize that really about yourself, because there's no way I could do what you do. I am not that good to sit there and do subject matter and keep the audience from turning on me or being like, okay, well, we can sit back then, kind of thing.
I can give you the secret behind, like, I know what I'm doing with that. Like, I know, like, if you take it at, like, what I say at face value, like, it sounds like right-wing-ish. But if you can, like, read the irony in it a little bit, then, like, you could paint me as left-wing-ish. Yeah. When in reality, I kind of don't lean, like, I kind of believe but don't believe everything I say. So, yeah. Like, it could work, yeah. Like, I don't lean either way, so, like, I could... Because that's what comedy. That's how I feel comedy is divided now. Like the two audiences. Mm-hmm. It's not stuck. It's not like snob. Like it's right wing and left wing lately.
Now, was this always your sense of? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I half believe everything I say. But like I can make it all sound sarcastic too.
Well, I mean, was this always your sense of humor from when you were a kid? Did you always try to kind of like keep people on their toes, kind of touch on subject matter that you knew might get you in trouble or get people to be like, oh, kind of like,
Things weren't as divisive when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about that, but like hitting jokes about maybe like, childhood death or cancer or, jokes about Jews or, anything like that was this always kind of where your head was at?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah, once I like reach a certain age, I guess, like, I can't remember shit I said when I was 5.
I'm not trying to make you remember when you said you're 5, but like, was there always this kind of point? Did you always... I guess kind of explain to me, was the shock kind of, now I know, like now you've done something with it. You've now tailored it to be a stand-up routine. I'm talking before you were a comic, back in the day. Did you do kind of edgier humor to shock people? Was this your way of kind of getting attention? Like, hey, I'm going to get my attention and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep you on your toes and say things that are outrageous.
I mean, I think I had to, like, see examples of it first to let you know that it was okay. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the South Park, what came around when I was, like, 12. Mm-hmm. So, like, perfect timing. Like, okay, holy shit, like, this is what you, like celebrity deaths. Like, yeah. I think, like, the first, like Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, I used to watch that all the mm-hmm. time. And I feel like the first celebrity, like, was like, Nick DiPaolo. Yeah, saying something. It's like Brett Favre had thrown like a terrible interception in a playoff game. Mm-hmm. He like just chucked it in the air as high as possible. And Nick DiPaolo said he was trying to hit his dad on a slant put or something like that. And like I feel like that might have been like the first celebrity death joke. Like, holy shit, they did that on TV. It got a huge laugh. Like I feel like that opened up a lot of things to me.
But why didn't you go more the route of like a Seinfeld kind of humor, or Jeff Foxworthy, or Jim Gaffigan? What about that humor turns you off and more this kind of edgy?
Boy, I was raised on Seinfeld.
Okay. But I'm talking about the way your humor was. I'm not talking about who you like. I'm talking about the way that your humor kind of developed was not that way.
I mean, I think because like I wasn't a natural speaker when I started,
Okay.
so like I had to. I didn't have the, when before I had like the stage presence, like I kind of got all my laughs off shock value,
Okay.
and I guess which I was good at,
Yeah.
and I guess I just shaped that more, and now I've mixed it with like my ability to speak well on stage,
Yeah.
like and like believe, like yeah, I guess. See, I told you, inarticulate.
No,
But,
no,
like,
no, 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 no. It's
I
it's
know.
it's weird because I think what I'm getting from you is there's more that you want to tell me, but you're very cautious about. I kind of really want to. Seems to be these kind of things in your life that it's like this. I can't.
I carefully write out every word I say on stage.
Well, no, we're gonna get into it because I do the exact same thing. But I kind of want to keep exploring this thing that it's interesting. I don't relate to it, and it's something that maybe I think we kind of breezed through, which was that your parents split up right after you were born, pretty much. Was there any kind of I know
Before I had any cognition.
What?
Before I had any cognition.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, was there? You said your dad was a weekend dad. Was there? That he was kind of like this life of the party kind of guy. Did you kind of use, if you saw your dad maybe as less frequently as your mother? Did you guys relate more? Was your relationship more humor based, like trying to get each other to laugh? Watching, you said your dad showed you some Richard Pryor and some George Carlin when you guys were little. Like, was that more your relationship? Was humor and funny and watching funny and being funny?
I mean, as I grew older, I mean, he was like the scary one because he was like 6 feet tall, something, and he had the same hairline going on, and he got angry, and he turned beet red. So yeah, he was like an imposing figure. But yeah, as I got older, yeah, then it was more. Then he became more like a drinking buddy.
Okay. Was he ever
Yeah.
was he angry at you, or was he angry with other people? You would just observe him getting super angry with other people, or is it with you that was the?
Well, yeah, I mean, I never really experienced him with other people. Like it was like yeah, mostly my brother. He was a pain in the ass growing up. Like he was I was the quiet one, so I like
Okay.
and he was the psychopath.
Did you?
He's calmed down. Yeah, we didn't get along at all, but now ever since my nieces came along, now.
Oh, you and your
Now we're
brothers.
talking.
You and your brother didn't get
Yeah.
along. Oh, okay. Well, what about
Yeah.
what about the two of you? Wasn't like what about the two of you? Like, was it a personality? You said he was a lot or whatever. What about it that about him was the hard part?
The only thing that we are the complete opposite person. I think the only thing that we had in common was the fact that the other one was their brother didn't endear to the other. Like, so like everything bad we were opposite. Yeah, everything we were opposite except for that one thing, which is probably yeah. So there's neither like, oh, but he's my brother, so whatever, you know.
Are you? I mean, you said he has nieces and nephews now, but are you guys close now?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I mean, he like because when the first one we didn't talk at all for years. Like we'd see each other like on Mother's Day and my mom's birthday. And then that got bad to the point where she got 2 Mother's Days and 2 birthdays.
Interesting. Well, what about that the relationship just went toxic? What about what was the issue?
I mean, it was just the difference in personalities. He was I don't like he. I mean, I guess I could blame him, but I probably was shitty on my own too. But like in a way that I didn't know.
But even if you guys had conflicting personalities, the fact that you guys came and get together for your mother's birthday just seems like there was something that happened between the two of you guys that said it's better for us not to be with each other than just the fact that maybe he has different political opinions or whatever it happens to be.
Well, if you asked him, you'd get a different. But I'm guessing he is like just like an antagonistic person, and I'm like, whatever. Like I let everything roll off, but like, I think. He didn't like that. I don't know. So he wanted to.
Did
he wanted to get reactions, and I don't give reactions.
Okay, so he would antagonize you. Your brother was very hard on you growing up.
I mean, well, the earliest video footage I have is him like trying to push me as a baby off of like a bed or something.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, he was 3. I don't hold that against him.
I mean, so now, I mean, right now.
He did attack me like as children. Like I guess when I was like 14, I could start beating him up though.
Okay, but this seems to be like in your 20s. You guys just stopped seeing each other, right?
Basically.
Can I ask how long has it been? How long was the longest stretch of time, between you and your brother interacting with each other?
I mean, there's probably always like a family. There's always like, I mean, it never like a couple months, like always, but like, I mean, that's always, there's like a family event that we both had to go to, most likely a funeral. But like at that point, we try to like keep our distance maybe, but yeah, like after, like when my mom first told me like that they were having a kid, my original reaction was, I don't care.
Yeah. I get that. But, no, I mean, so
even with but it did eat away at me. Like after I was like, no, that's still like
yeah.
That's a potential like mind that I could make awesome.
I agree. Well, I mean, was your brother just shitty to you for a extended period of time? You said this is just an unhealthy relationship to have.
It's like competitive, like I guess competitive spirit. I was probably a little brat about but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I wanted to be left alone.
Okay, and he just kept bothering you. But was there a specific incident that happened where you were like, "That's it, we're not getting together, we're not going to talk to each other"? Was there a specific incident like that, or was it just a combination of so many little things that was just like, this isn't?
Yeah, it was just a relationship. I mean, once we didn't live under the same roof, pretty much.
Okay. Now, when your father
like that, yeah. Well, as I said, like the one thing we had, like it didn't endear. I hate the wording of this, and I'm trying to word it correctly.
Okay, that's right.
Neither of us were endeared by the fact that we were the other one's brothers. So it didn't like, yeah. So that never mattered to us. Like that didn't give like him an advantage over other people in my life just because like, oh, we're related. Like,
I see.
You're the person you are. I'm the person I am. The fact that we are made from the same people is strictly just coincidence, or I mean, well, just happenstance.
Did your parents ever recognize that, man, just Dave and his brother aren't getting along, and trying to foster a relationship out of that, or were they complicit in keeping that relationship very broken?
My mom was, I mean, because it was her idea to do the birthdays and Mother's Days like as a family, and she was just like, all right, fuck it, like. I'll do, and why wouldn't you? You get 2 meals. I'd take 2 meals.
Well, it just seems like I understand, like brothers, growing up, one can be picking on the other, but the fact that it continues into being adults, and that you had the recognition to separate yourself out of that, I didn't know, like. So you said like we weren't endeared, like just like all we were blood related. There was really no love between the two of us. But why was that? Why was there no love between, especially when your parents were split up? Really, the only two, you and your brother, all that you really have, because every weekend you're at somebody else's.
I had lots of friends. I've never needed company. I've never needed like people that much either. Like, so I'm okay with a book or a movie or something like that. I don't need that much. But I think also like the sibling thing. It is kind of genetic. Like my mom and her brother, I don't even know she knows if he's alive right now.
Okay.
Like my dad and his brother fought all the time. They did. They got better, their relationship, I think, when they both had nieces and nephews.
Okay.
In fact, I mean, they fought a lot, but they ended up dying, 6 months apart too.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was a shitty year.
So when your father dies, do you and your brother make up, or do you guys come together there at that point, or was it worse then?
I thought he was a pain in the ass at the funeral. No, see this. I don't want to get too much into this. So like,
get into it,
because my dad was sick for a year.
Okay.
because he had the tumor on his spine, so he
Oh, wow.
lost the legs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was living closer. I was like waiting tables at the time, but like I was his primary caretaker, and like I don't feel like I was getting a lot of help elsewhere. I
I
don't.
see.
I let that in. Like I was pissed off for a while, but I let it be in the past. No.
Okay. No, I mean, that's legitimate. I mean, yeah, you needed help.
To the ground.
Yeah, I mean, your mother's not going to help. I mean, they were divorced, not getting along. Your brother's not there for you.
Well, they actually got. They were friends.
Okay, but did she help him when he was sick, or was that just like that's off the table?
She wasn't. I mean, she wasn't gonna.
Okay.
Like, I had to get my hands dirty. I don't want to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she wasn't gonna like. She was like. I mean, like she was the executor of his will, like stuff like that. Like,
Interesting.
She helped out. She helped out a lot. Like, but like like the grunt work type stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was mostly in charge of.
Do you in a sense feel that you've raised yourself?
No.
No? Well, no, I'm just trying to say because it seems like you shoulder a lot of responsibility. You're taking care of your father, but you also have a full-time job, and it's like you kind of navigate this world kind of on your own.
I was an adult at that point. No,
I know,
yeah.
but still, it's a lot to ask.
Okay, you're right. I mean, I still have a mom. She's going to listen to this. No, she did a great job.
Well, no, there's a definite difference with how you talk about your mom and how you talk about your father. You're quick to defend your mom for what I've heard so far. You relate to her a lot better.
I guess I'm a mama's boy as a small kid.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Before I turned out like me.
Well, no, I mean, and that's nice to hear because it seems. I guess if I gave you the opportunity to relive your childhood again, would you?
I mean, so I'd get my adult brain. We're gonna.
No, you would not adult brain, and you were a kid. Just like you would relive your childhood all over again.
Oh, just like beat for beat.
Yeah, would you do it?
No, that would annoy me. No, I would my 20s probably, but not my childhood.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the partying, that was great. Like, I don't want to go back to being a kid.
Okay. All right. So let's get into then a little bit of your stand-up then. So, when did you kind of get the tickle to like, ooh, I want to maybe try, especially if you had this big fear of talking in front of crowds. What did you? Maybe not a fear, but you definitely you were very aware and deliberate with.
No, it was a fear.
That was what got you onto that stage then? When was the pinpoint? If I had a pinpoint of time that we're like, that's when I'm getting on stage. What happened? Where were you?
Well, it was the combination of my buddy moving to Arizona plus a friend of mine, Rob DeSantis. Like he had taken it, like the class, like. And then he was going to take it a second time. I'm like, wait, I want in on that too. Like,
oh, so you took a comedy class? I didn't know that.
I did. I took the Trackman one.
Okay.
At Healy.
Yeah. How was that?
I liked working with Brad. I mean, I know he's not super loved by everyone in Philly, but like, I've spent 8 hours in the car. Like, he's a perfectly normal guy. Like, and I mean, I'd say the class knocks off maybe like a couple months.
Okay.
Like I think it helps you get where you can get quicker, but like, yeah, you'll get there.
No, maybe. I like talking about this because there is that stigma around a comedy class, like, oh, well, you should. But most of these comics who I talk to, who I like yourself and Mary Rosinski and Chip Chantry, they all took stand-up comedy classes. So I guess so why is there this negative stigma about getting some extra? Like you said, you're shaving some time off of a thing. Why is there a stigma around comedy classes?
I don't know. I can't get in the mind of other people. Like the more I think about it, right now, though, like I think it probably did help me stay in it, because like at the end of each class, I think there was 3 classes. You did you did a set with like I've never done this before. Like, all right, got all these genius ideas, but then I'm saying them in front of people. I'm like, oh. all shit, and like I did major tailing off, and like never mind that, and like stuff like that. Like, so I'm trying, like, if I did that in front of, like, it was nice to do that in front of people that were in the same spot as me.
It gives you a nice safe space.
If I did that,
yeah,
I would have eaten the fattest dick ever if I did that in a real crowd. And like, so yeah, I think I still have like the DVD of my first set ever.
Nice.
I won't watch it, probably, but like, and I was super nervous. Apparently, I did this thing where I had like this button-up shirt, and it like came with rolled-up sleeves, like, so like it had this little like like a string, and like apparently I was just fingering it the whole time. I didn't. My friend told me about it.
But that's helpful, and it's good. I like that. It gives you that safe space that you can kind of, these weird kind of tics that you may have because you're a little nervous, like you can work them out in the front of a room where there's a bunch of other people that have tics. What would you say is like the one thing that you really took away that kind of you still use today from that class? Like, I don't know, something that Brad gave advice, or like some, whether it's something simple or whatever. Is there still something that like from the class that you still make sure you make a point to address even today with how you write or how you perform or anything like that?
No, I don't think that's what the intention of the classes is to do. I think it's just supposed to, like, it's more like the basics, so you can like just have the confidence to keep doing it. Because like, yeah, I think the first real show I did was technically my fourth time on stage, and I felt like a lot more confident. Like, he also did like solo phone calls with everybody to like go over their first 5 minutes.
Okay.
But like, I mean, everything I do, like, I guess like some of the mechanical issues, like walking up, fucking moving the thing, just like stupid shit like that.
Yeah, but that is like, helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, but eventually, because like, I've hosted a few shows for him. Like, me and Brad are still cool. Like, he's on the road with him. Like,
nice.
So it's like, it's been beneficial. Like, I've got to perform in like pretty cool venues.
Good.
As his feature act a few times.
Cool, man.
But like, eventually, it will have to be your own personality that takes over. Because when I go back like years later and like host one of those shows, his graduation shows, you can kind of hear like a similarity in everybody's delivery.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, you like, and can you do this too? Can you like, you can hear like the material's good, but you can tell this person's brand new, just like, like a formulaic approach to the way they're doing things.
Exactly, and I mean, I cut those kind of people a break because they're really trying, and they're latching on to what they see, because if they see what works, they're going to tailor themselves to it. That's why you see a lot of people who are new that have styles like David Tell or Dave Chappelle or Jerry Seinfeld, because that's what they're used to. But I guess the weird thing with go ahead.
Yeah, Hedbergs. There's a lot of Hedbergs.
Exactly. I want to get into your jokes because, like I said, the joke, and we're going to talk like in a general high level kind of feel, but specifically talking about your Hitler joke, your baby Hitler joke, which is one of my favorite jokes of any comedian. I love that joke. That is so good. And what I really appreciate that is I like jokes that the topic has been out there forever. I mean, everyone talks about would you kill baby Hitler, but the punchline, only you are able to mine that punchline. That topic's been out there, but only you were able to find that funny, and that is why I appreciate about comics like yourself. That I was not able to recognize a punchline like that, but you were. So how do I tap into that brain? How do I tease out some of the things that you go through and develop? And I kind of want to start at the basics here, and you can use the baby Hitler joke as a reference point, but kind of starting with square one, when you recognize something to be funny or a potential bit, how do you capture that idea?
Well, I mean, that was just based on a real thing. Like, it was like, I literally heard that they asked a campaigning politician if you could go back in time and kill baby Hitler, and like, it wasn't even the baby Hitler portion of it that was absurd to me. It was like just asking them a science fiction based question, because like there's no way they can ever act on it. So any answer is like, why would you throw such a softball question at people that, like, hey, Dave, if you could punch a T-Rex in the face, would you do it? Of course I would, because I'll never have to fucking prove that I wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. But how did you capture that? If you can think back to when that joke first got developed, when you heard that being said in an interview, how do you, and even today, how are you capturing these kind of nuggets or whatever? Are you writing them down? Or they go into your phone, or just kind of, if I want to absorb all of your talent and sit there with you and watch you go through this process, what would be the first thing you do when you recognize, bam, that's something funny?
I do have, I mean, if I'm out on the town, I have the little notepad. I was about to bring it up, then I realized that's what I'm talking about. But, yeah, so everything, I have the little notepad section, but I didn't send that to you because, like, so much of that notepad is just, I randomly pop up at 4 a.m. and just write whatever insane thing has been keeping me from sleeping.
Interesting. Troy Moore is the other comic that has said that something, he will wake up in the middle of the night and need to write something down, that there's something just festering that he can't. So I don't experience that. But what do you like? What is that from? Why is your
well, the phone I can't even do all the time. Sometimes I need to actually like get on my laptop and write the entire joke out. Like, it's like taking out the trash. Like, if I don't put it on paper, then it is in my head, and it is going to keep me awake. Like, there's times where I've written a joke and then out like a light.
I like that. I like that it bothers you, because that like that's kind of your litmus test that lets you know that this is something. What those kind of jokes that wake you up.
It wasn't like that for you pre-baby? Like, now you have to sleep when you can.
Not really. She's actually pretty, knock on wood, she's prety good. But no, I kind of wish that was the case. Not like, I kind of wish I could get up in the middle of the night and have these kind of. You're literally waking up and your laptop is right there next to you, and you will start typing out bits.
Sometimes it's the worst. Like, no, my laptop's across. Like, my phone's by my bed. The laptop is across the room, so I have to get out of bed, bring it over, plug it in because the battery's shot. So I write the entire thing out.
Okay.
I mean, I usually put it, depending on how fully formed, if it's like I have my concept page and my, like I showed you, like the concept page is no subsection. It's all just incomplete ideas. But like in the big file I have, like, good to go right now. Like, it was good to go at one point, but I haven't done it in a while, so it probably sucks now. Like, I've done this one a few times. It's not quite there. This is complete shit. Strip it for parts, though, because you do like some parts of it. And then full jokes that I haven't done yet. So is most of your writing being done in the early hours of the morning? So it's not just you write. It's not just a bit that keeps you up that you have to get down on your computer. You'll actually sit there and go through other jokes and, like you said, strip it for parts or see it. Like, you're actually doing a lot more than just getting down on or getting down your computer. What's bothering you? You're actually working on material at 4 a.m. in the morning. Well, there's 3 places that my brain creates more. Yeah, when I'm trying to sleep, when I'm in the shower for some reason. Which was awkward because the last thing I had to write for was a roast battle, and I didn't like that I was thinking about this other guy in the shower. But and like in the car on the way, like so, like, yeah, a lot of times I write down like rough ideas, and then like I'll figure out the exact wording of how I'm going to say it on the ride to the place, like when I'm about to try it for the first time. And then after it does well or doesn't do well on the car ride home is when I really, so yeah, a lot of times when I get back, I jump right on the computer and like rewrite. Like I never just like highlight like a part in the middle of the thing and like change that. I just rewrite the whole thing from scratch.
Interesting. I like that.
I do. I like probably maybe like once every other year, I do that with all my jokes. Like, because you saw I had one that said like jokes and one that said bits.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same thing. Like one was me rewriting one, like just so I could like be like, okay, does this sound like right? And then deleting it from one. So yeah.
Okay.
So like yeah, I try to keep fresh on all my shit.
So when you're going to and from shows or open mics and you're working out material, if a genius way to say something comes into your mind, are you able to remember it when you get to the mic, or do you have to like pull the car over and like write something down on your phone or put it on your phone real quick to make sure this is exactly how I want to word it on stage, kind of thing?
I can hold it. I normally do sequester. Is that the word? Myself off from everybody else. Sequester.
Sequester. Okay. Yeah.
It's with QU, right?
Yeah.
Edit that. Edit that.
Okay.
Or don't. I don't give a shit. Yeah, let people know how stupid I am.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like yeah, I'll like hide out in a corner for a second and put it in the notes section.
Okay, so this is very interesting. You said there were three things that you do. The first one is the 4 a.m. writing session. The second part is you're working it out, on your way to a mic, and then the mic is feedback, and you're working. But what's the third one? You said there was three.
Oh, on the way back.
The way back, the third one.
Yeah,
okay.
Then I'm like, because that pisses me off. So like, has it happened to you when you like you're like it's like same thing with like a heckler, like like. I'm good at handling them, but I always think of something better to handle.
Yeah, it's kind of like that George Costanza thing.
Once the moment's gone. Yeah. It's every argument I've been into.
Yeah.
Where you're like, damn it, now I have to. It's like the George Costanza thing with the jerk store call.
Yeah.
Where you try to recreate the entire situation of the argument so he can use his great line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it never pays off. Yeah, it has to be organic. It never pays off when you have this great line and it's I'm gonna get to use it now. Like you always shoot yourself in the foot a little bit.
When you're pertaining to this baby Hitler joke, do you kind of remember the very early rudimentary version of how that joke went, and then how you can kind of maybe walk me through how you edit your own material to get it where we see it in the video that you sent over?
I mean, well, I've actually, what did I send you, I sent you an old video. Like, I remember I was like, I have a goatee in that. Like, I haven't cared about my appearance enough to have a goatee and whatever. But like, the part that felt obvious to me, which is why I'm surprised I've never heard anyone like the murdering the baby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that went under everybody else's radar. Like, I think because like I guess maybe because like I don't get triggered. Because everybody else has trigger words. Hitler is a lot of people's trigger word.
Yeah.
So if they hear Hitler, they don't hear surrounding words.
Yeah.
But I heard baby.
Yeah. But was that so when you first heard that interview and that person got that crazy hypothetical question, like, and you mentioned like I don't have to no one has to prove it, so I'm gonna go and I can say I'll say the right answer. Was the immediate punchline did you just say you did kill a baby? Like, was that the immediate punchline? Like bring up the fact that you admitted that you'll kill a baby. Like, that was okay. So that was the very first punchline and stayed through there. Okay. Now, walk me through some of your other jokes. Like, so is the editing part of your material always done on the ride home from a gig? I mean, I know you said you'll go home and then you'll rewrite it, but can you kind of walk me through how you edit one of your jokes? How do you know that this joke needs to be cut down or expanded upon or reworded or new perspective? How do you recognize those kind of editing tools?
I mean, just based on the laughs. Like, that's like my biggest problem. Like, when I started, like, I've gotten better at this. Like, I need tag. Like, I know a lot of comics that can like say nothing funny for like X amount of time because they believe in a punchline. But like, I guess the silence used to make me uncomfortable, so I had to tag every set, like just tag the shit out of everything. So yeah, I don't like a wasted word in anything. Like,
yeah.
take my gynecomastia joke.
Yeah.
You know, like that joke sat on the shelf for 2 years just because like it was just too long to explain. Like I went to a doctor's office, blah blah blah. I'm sitting there, blah blah blah. And he says I have gynecomastia. Like I hated all that wasted time.
Yeah.
So like I was sitting there with my shirt off, not because they asked me to, but as a suction like, and that just that one little tag in the setup made that joke, made me comfortable telling that.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I mean, and that one's like a very personal joke. I mean, because I wouldn't consider yourself a very self-deprecating kind of comic. You like the awkward space, but I wouldn't consider that self-deprecation. And for someone who tells me that their private life is their private life and you'll never crack it, you go ahead and you admit something very vulnerable. So what about that gets into your act? But some of this other stuff that you would maybe say is more, that would be vulnerable talking about doesn't get into your act.
Well, see, I mean, gynecomastia isn't really my private life because, I mean, in the wintertime I can hide it, but it's pretty out there.
I mean, yeah, but it's not the most. I don't notice it. The first thing I notice about you, like in summer or whatever, is not that. So,
but I mean, it's something that like if I had I don't want to compare my gynecomastia to being like a wheelchair or speech impediment comic, but it's definitely something out there in front of everybody. And I'm not saying if you have those, that's all your act needs to be about. In fact, I'd prefer it not be. But it definitely needs to be addressed pretty early on.
Yeah.
So that's not my private life so much. That's like you. If you're sitting on the side, like maybe right up front, you don't notice, but if you're on the side, you probably noticed I'm sporting some man tits there. So I might as well be the one. I'd rather be the one to make fun of it than you. Yeah. Because I mean, it's hurtful when you do it. It's funnier when I can do it better than you can.
Very true. Very cool. So I mean, I guess let me ask you, when you talk about editing your joke and you talk about I need to just tag the shit out of it. Do you do you sit there and when you're in front of your laptop, do you set a limit like I'm going to take this premise and I'm not walking away from this computer until I have 20 tags on it?
No. First year maybe. First year of comedy, I when you need that 5 minutes, because you're worthless without that, a good 5 minutes. So I used to all right, Dave, come up with something hopefully my brain can just turn off and my fingers can move and then hopefully something's on the paper. But now it's really just a note, but don't force anything. If a joke doesn't work now, one day, 2 years from now, I'll be brushing my teeth and pop. Yeah. Holy shit, there it is.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess, how can you kind of walk me through some of the tricks that you do to kind of, know that you've exhausted all the tags that can be tagged onto a joke? Are there different, do you do it, I'm going to do it from, I'm going to take this angle, and then I'm going to do the exact opposite perspective of it? Are there certain things that you, a formula that you follow to, kind of come up with these tags on your jokes?
No, I've never felt, I still don't feel, no joke I tell I feel is done until maybe I put it on an album or whatever and then just retire, stop doing it forever because it's already available to everybody. Yeah. But I wrote a tag for my oldest joke the other day. Okay. And even the joke you're talking about, the last time I performed it, I've probably added another minute of stuff that you've never heard before. Okay. So
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always flow right off the bat, but it'll flow with repetition.
I like that you revisit old material. Do you make a point in that? When you're sitting in front of your laptop, are you going, all right, I just got done with this new thing. Let me go into my folder and take the oldest bit that I have that I still do and see if I can do something with it. Is there a conscious effort to address old material to make it punch it up?
It's sometimes it just happens with life. Because, I mean, okay, the joke, the hit, how I don't, it's about, it starts off with, I don't vote.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about politics. So like, but like then there was a time where I voted, so I talked about that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't politics; it was for M&M flavor. So like, I kind of like I like how I don't treat it like everybody else. Like how seriously other people do. Like if we end up with this flavor peanut M&Ms, then the blood's on your hands. And like yeah, like how I don't like like the last political argument I got into was if this certain politician was hot or not. So, like, I use my example of political debate is that. So like
I get it. No, I get it. So you're trying to. So you kind of.
just life. Sometimes it's just life happening and me being an opportunist and
Okay.
pouncing on that.
I get what you're saying. So do you derive a lot of your material from conversations that you just have? Like not even funny conversations, just like conversations you might have with, a buddy or your mom or another comic and then be like, "Oh, well, I can make something." You think about it later on that night and like, "Oh, I can do something with that conversation."
I try not to. It's the reason I never like being a salesman. I don't like getting in conversations to like look for an angle.
I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying that you're
I know.
purposely. Yeah.
So like if it happens, cool. But like I never try to like force it. I don't want to be like. I mean that's I did that to my ex all the time. That's like she'd say something dumb and then she'd just see me like look off like and, like she knew the look after a while like fuck. But yeah, I mean I'd like to be present for people if they're talking to me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. But I mean that's just how my brain works. Like so, it's inadvertent. Like whoops. But yeah.
So you have an idea and you write out. Well, I guess what's the writing part of it between the idea and the first time it hits the stage? I know you work it out in the car, but as far as is there any kind of writing that you do? And by I mean like writing is a loose term, like typing or whatever you want us to call it, or voice memos or whatever you want to do. Like, is there any form of writing that goes from the recognition of a funny idea to the first time it's on stage, not including your getting in your car? Is there any kind of prep work before you get in the car to go to an open mic that you do?
I have to write out like the order, like to make it flow.
Mm-hmm.
No, the writing in my car is more just because like what I type, like I don't know, like I guess the way I write like is more like an essay. It's not something that would sound good.
Okay.
Spoken aloud. So like I write out the idea so that like I know how to like word it. Like I the wording like so I don't like give away anything. Like so I'm cognizant about that. Like the stuff like in the car is more just like a molding, like humanizing it kind of.
Okay.
So it sounds so like what's on the paper will sound right spoken.
So I get that. So when we hear you tell a joke for the first time, this is a new Dave Primiano joke. Before the audience or the comics that might even hear it, you have written that out word for word in some version on your computer, and then looked it over, read it, and then whatever you remember from looking at that paper, you go into the car then, and now you're starting to make it sound more like a conversation or a dialogue or more stand-up-y. Okay,
Yeah.
but so you're doing a lot of work prior
And then
to
I
it.
rewrite it that way.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll rewrite it in the, on the computer.
Do you delete all the old stuff? Like if you wrote out this whole paragraph around baby Hitler and for some reason okay this worked but the rest of it didn't. Do you delete that and start from the point that it worked, or do you just like all right next page? There's like a chronological order of the joke from the first draft to the 15th draft.
Sometimes I'll italicize stuff.
Okay.
As in like revisit this or yeah. I mean I prefer like I rewrite the like I'll have it like right under the original writing just so like no that's not like I can look at it and be like no that's stupid looking like
Yeah, okay.
forget this or like, okay, this is how it is. Delete the first one.
So I'm seeing your process kind of form here now. So you're writing out word for word like a story. It almost reads like a transcript, and then you take that transcript and in the car you're now working it out verbally. So it sounds like a stand-up act.
Yeah,
You
like a human.
Yeah.
A human would say.
You perform it on stage. At that point, then in the car. Now, do you record all your sets so that you can hear it again?
No, I can't listen to my own voice,
Okay.
which is why I'll never watch this.
Do you?
Whatever. So yeah, if I tell you to edit something out, I'll never call you out if you won't.
Well, you get my word that I will. But
It never. Yeah, I mean, because like I have before, I just forget a lot too. Like I'm always like too in the moment to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's weird. Like I guess I still have like a little bit of pre-stage jitters. Like like one thing I noticed about myself, if I get brought up to music, I could never tell you what song it is. Like I hear other people comment on like, oh, that song, that's weird to me. Like I don't know. I don't know why that came to my head.
Well, no, I mean that makes sense. And
like, I know there's times where I'm like, I want to record my set tonight, but then I get up on stage and start doing my like. It's just too much in my head to just grab Mike, talk, like, instead of like, wait, hold on, my thumbprint's not reading.
Well, so I mean, like, I think this comes back from one of the first things we talked about, where you're very much in your head. So, like, when you are walking up on that stage, whether it's an open mic or a show or what have you, roast battle, you are already going over your act. You're already 3 steps in front of what you're about to say. You're already a minute ahead of yourself, thinking about the next thing.
I'm always like watching the audio, because I mean, you've seen, I always have something to say about like the comic that went before me or the venue. Like, so like a lot of times I'm like deeply studying what's going on around me too.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I guess, yeah, like, so it's just some things I put more priority into when the phone thing really should be something. But,
yeah, no. I mean, hey, different strokes for different folks. But now on the way home, now you're kind of replaying that set. Your mind is working enough that you can remember what parts of the joke people laughed at and what parts they didn't laugh at. And now you're reworking it, and then you go home and you type out what you just went over in your head in the car.
Yes.
Is there anything then that happens between that, the at home after a show writing session, and telling that joke again on a stage? Do you go back and revisit that at another date or at 4 a.m. in the morning? Or once you get it all out after the joke, after your set or whatever, you don't touch it again until the next time you're on stage, and then you do the same thing again?
It's really a crapshoot, I guess.
What's the crapshoot? What's it depend on?
I mean, just the joke. It depends on if I did come up with something. Like, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes, like, I should have said that there. Like, plus, I think I burned through jokes too quickly too. Like, because I know it's like a lot of like during like these past few weeks, I've just been going to every open mic I can. So it's like the same people. So I'm trying to keep it fresh for them, even though they don't matter in the long run.
Yeah.
I don't. It's something stupid in my head.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I mean, because they're not, if they heard the jokes before, they're not going to laugh, and you're like, well, at least let me try something new so I can get a reaction. That we're going from there. But
the saying out loud is a big part too.
Yeah, so and I like that you say that your jokes are never done. That, I mean, even though you may not make a conscious effort to go back and look at jokes that you read 4 or 5 years ago, if you're in the bathroom and all of a sudden like something reminds you of joke about like the midget drummer joke that you do or something, you will go back and take a moment to sit down and think about that joke again and see like, oh, I like this tag. What can I do with it? I like that, because usually, especially in my case, like I end jokes too early. And now. Kind of talking about your delivery on stage, you're very, deadpan is not the word. It's you're matter of what do you say?
Detached.
No. I would say matter of fact. Like you're very. I would say, as much as we talked about you not being confident, I do feel there's a very big confidence on stage, like where you like don't give a shit if the audience is on board or not. You appreciate your material and you're going to tell it the way it is.
Well, that's. Oh, well, this, yeah, well, what I've said once. Yeah, like basically the audience is my dogs, and I'm gonna feed myself first, and you can have whatever scraps fall on the floor.
I like that. That's a great analogy. I never, no, but that's kind of how it has to be because you know the jokes are yours, and obviously if they didn't work, you wouldn't be telling them in a show setting. So obviously they work, you know, more often than not. But do you as far as like your delivery is concerned, do you make a conscious effort to do certain things on stage or tell jokes a certain way to emphasize certain points, especially with your kind of more edgy material or whatever you want to call it? You know, do you make it a point where you're like, I definitely want to pause after something, you know, dark, and I feed off the silence of the room like gasping? Is that something you make a conscious effort doing?
I like a pregnant pause.
Yes.
I do enjoy a good one of those. Like if I say something like, yeah, sometimes if I say something ridiculous, you gotta let it hang for a second. And sometimes if I know it's funny, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Like it's like a stare down. like but you have to like really commit to it. It's never because like time moves slow. Like, so if you have like a moment of hesitation when it's actually been like two.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I have to do like a stare down for what in my mind feels like 10 seconds or so. Like, I know what I just fucking said. Like,
yeah.
Get on board. Like, this is my fucking show. You're along for the ride.
Well, I mean, you have to be very comfortable in your skin to do that. I mean, it's weird for me. And when I hear sounds like that, it is an innate ability or an innate reaction to fill that silence as quick as possible, where you almost thrive in that silence. You enjoy it. You enjoy seeing the audience squirm and being like the pressure building, and then you release that pressure. Like you like that, like when the pipe's steaming and everything, and then you kind of release the valve a little bit. You like that kind of energy.
It's me. No, I don't. It's me committing to the character. Like
a character. You think you're a character on? You think you portray a character on stage?
Oh, okay. Like if me off stage and me on like I have to like be more. I have to appear more confident for the sake of the jokes.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like luckily those like long pauses have worked in my favor.
Yeah.
But if boy, that's a huge risk if it doesn't.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that and respect that so much. I mean, you do have those balls to go up there and take those risks, where someone like myself shies away from them. So I will commend you, and wish I was more like you. And most of the time, those risks pay off in great capacity. So I do commend that about you.
It's because I'm a worse person than you.
Don't get out of here.
I think a reason I can get away with a lot of stuff is because I do look so like detached from like empathy and like normal, like that's just like all right. This guy.
I don't know if you are. And let me ask you this. You know, going back to now, you know, your private life, which is going to make you squirm a little bit. But when your father passed away, you're like this. I don't have emotions, and I'm all circuitry and wires pretty much.
I mean, first of all, it takes years of practice to stifle your emotions.
But I guess the thing is,
that year I lost like 4 relatives, so I kind of like that was like the beginning of like me shutting down a little bit.
But why? Why shut down? Why do you not feel comfortable putting your emotions out there?
It's just like, it was just too much. Like, it's just like, I'm over it at this point. Like I was sad about each one, but like, all right, well, stop. I don't need to get attached to things now.
Okay. Because it was funny that you mentioned, well, that's the character that I play. And I think you thought that you misspoke, but I don't think you did, because you had mentioned very early on in this interview that I wish I was more my onstage persona than I am. Like, if I wish my offstage persona was more like my onstage persona. You appreciate how confident you are when you're on stage. You appreciate this like, hey, the audience kind of works for me. There, where maybe you're more like and off stage you're more like, oh, you do care a little more about what people are. You're more affected by how people perceive you maybe than on stage. You don't give a shit really. Kind of deal. So what?
It did take me a decade to get that way. Like,
Why a decade?
I couldn't get on stage at first without like 4 beers in me. Otherwise, I had shaky. Otherwise, I had shaky Mike.
Okay, I mean, but why this? I'm not talking about on stage because obviously it works for you. This what you want to call quote unquote a character it works for the style of jokes that you do because yeah, you're right. It elicits a detachment. The audience sees you very much as like, hey, we agree with what you're saying, but we kind of like we're not like you. I think you kind of like kind of portray this kind of like I'm kind of like on the other side of society kind of guy where it doesn't affect me to point out these kind of darker subject matter. But off stage, you are very conscious about how you're perceived, what's something you might say, how that goes over. You're not as confident. So, but then you're like, well, I'm shutting down. I'm hardened. But so where does all these personality things come from? Because you're very guarded. I know you're uncomfortable even thinking about this, but in situations with emotion or if things are bothering you and you may not tell people about it or whatever, but why? What is it that you're afraid might happen if you're a little bit vulnerable? If you kind of show you put your heart on your sleeve every once in a while, what is it? Is it in your mind that it's always going to be worst case scenario?
Yeah, probably.
But why?
I mean, shouldn't you always be prepared for that?
I know, but like if I feel like I could even come to you and be like, hey, I'm kind of bothered by this, and I can kind of let down my hair a little bit around like comics like yourself or Buddy or something like that. It's like,
I think like I don't even like I've accepted it as I am. Like some people like I've been people's rock because of that in the past. Like
okay. So this kind of steel trap works for you in certain situations where people can come to you because they're not going to get a. Okay.
There's not a whole lot behind it anyway to begin with. It's just me now.
Like, I know, and I guess like you have many layers. Dave Primiano, and what I'm trying to show the audience is a multi. You're like an onion, and I'm trying to peel back these layers.
You're gonna have to edit that
out. because I want to get to the core.
If this comes out, people come up and start hugging me.
Well, I'm trying my best to get to the core, because I really want to get to know you on another level. You're being very guarded, and I respect that to a certain point. But part of what I do in these is I try to get to that inner core the comedy doesn't really reveal about themselves. And so I am playing somewhat of a therapist, and I'm trying to tell you how good of a person you are and how great of a comic you are, and how, like, yes, I might have interviews with some comics on here who I appreciate as a comic, but with you is a little different. I appreciate you as a friend and comic. And so I'm trying to get to this nugget of inside Primiano about, like, there has to be something, and I'm almost adamant that you have put yourself out there, and the reaction you got was so negative and so and made you feel so bad about yourself that you said, I will never do this again. Whether that came from a parent or your brother or a friend or a girlfriend or the whole high school you went to. Is there that incident that has shut you down now, that you can't be this vulnerable with people, that even you're close to them?
I can't. No, I think it's just macho-ness.
Macho-ness. Okay. All right. What will validate you that all this sacrifice was worth it? All this time you spend traveling to 3-minute open mic sets, all this time you do get paid shitty, or even get paid at all, do shitty gigs. What is the one goal you hope to achieve that validates, like, all this has been worth it?
That's the deepest fucking question you've asked yet. No, validate. I don't know. Like I mean, I'm happy now. Like I'm not. Like that's a bad way to put it because I'm. Like I mean, like I put out work that I'm proud of. Like, and I'm happy with that. If more people could notice, that'd be great. But like, I feel like material wise, I've done good by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Like an album.
Yeah, huh?
Like an album or a special?
That would be cool. Which I know I could do an album tomorrow. I heard it's not that hard to do.
Very true.
But yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed it more for the artistic side. So like, I feel validated that I've written like I'm surprised at stuff I've written before. Like when I go back and like re-go over like the old files, like damn, that came out of this idiot head. Like, good for me. Like sometimes I'm clever. Like that's a validating thought.
Mm-hmm.
That like I write shit that I like.
Yeah, cool, man. Has your brother ever seen you perform comedy?
Once.
Okay, tell me about that.
It was the Gilbert Godfrey show. I think because like I think it was like my mom's birthday or something.
Okay.
Like, so I guess they had dinner and she's like, all right, I like that's where I want to go today.
Okay.
So
what was
that
his,
was the only time.
What was his reaction after he saw you? Did he like, holy shit, Dave? Like, I'm super impressed by you doing this.
You clearly don't know him. No, no, he said because he can't sit still. Like he doesn't like watching things.
Yeah.
Like so he doesn't like I've seen every movie in the world.
Yeah.
He's seen Indiana Jones. I think he likes those. Like yeah, like he doesn't. I don't know. He only really watches hockey. I watch every other. But like yeah, like I don't think he. I think like if you talk about comedy, he'll say he likes like Dat Fan or something. Whatever that fuck is. Yeah, he likes that like.
But
I won't comment on.
But was
like,
your brother?
Like,
was your brother?
He was like you were.
Go ahead.
He's like I hated sitting there, but like you were all right. I got all right.
Okay, well, I mean that's something. That's something. I mean, but so he was happy for you. Like did you sense that he was happy that you got to open for Gilbert Godfrey? Like there was he appreciated that you got to that kind of level in stand up.
I don't think he cared. We're not really involved in each other's lives.
I know, but what I guess even after your father died, and you said he was kind of a pain in the ass at the funeral. Like, so if that, do you ever see you and your brother getting close? Do you ever before one or the two of you pass away? Do you ever see that? Hey, come to Jesus. I know you're ready, but come to Jesus. But we're like we were pretty shitty to each other, but like we're all like your mom's passed away. Maybe at this point, like we're all each other has. Like, do you ever see that happening, or will there never be a full reconciliation between you and your brother?
I don't think we'll ever be what all each other have. I'm comfortable with where things are.
Okay.
Considering where they have been, like the fact that we're like he hasn't said it, but I'm guessing he notices I'm a good uncle. Like I've been really good. I've been really good to my nieces.
Yeah.
So I guess, but yeah, it's fine where it is. It's not like. We're too different to like get along at a better like we can sit in the same room, we can be civil. That's fine.
If he ever extended the olive branch to you, saying, "Hey, Dave, I'd like to talk. I'd really like to become like friends. I really like to, would you be like, I'm okay where I'm at, or would you take him up on it?"
I mean, it's not going to happen. He's he's as reserved as I am.
Okay.
So. Yeah,
both stubborn.
I think we're both okay. We're both okay with the current standing.
Okay. If your brother were to drop dead suddenly, is there regret that the two of you never patched things up? If he were to die right now, would you regret that you never were able to mend fences with him and really tell him maybe some stuff that bothered you, or tell?
They're mended enough. I mean, I can't I would not I was so shitty this past time. Like we're affable now.
Okay.
Is that the right word?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. The last thing that you kept saying.
Yeah, he knows like I wouldn't like abandon his nieces or anything like that. Like so he knows they'd be in good hands. Well, I mean I wouldn't raise them because fuck that, I never want kids. But like I'd be there for some dad like shit.
Okay.
Or whatever.
All
Just
right.
not all of it.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
Graduations, birthdays.
Yeah.
No,
I'll beat up any boyfriends or whatever.
In the last few minutes here, anything you want to plug? What is Dave Primiano going to do next when COVID, falls by the wayside and things return to normal? What are some things that we can look forward to you doing, and what are some things you would like to plug?
Well, you can keep tuning into the Rank Bank. What's that? On Twitter and Instagram, _rank_bank.
Okay.
We rank shit. It's fun.
It's a great concept.
It's a silly little fun show. Lots of other people do it, but I mean, we're funnier probably. They do it a lot. I take their ranking seriously, but when the discussion gets happening, and hey, you're always welcome. If there's something out there that you want to rank,
I am game. Whenever if you ever want me to be on or whatever, just reach out. I'd be happy to. It's always a cool idea. I would love to. Anytime I get to talk to you, it's great. Is there anything like what's next? Are you planning anything particular in the stand-up world? Like, I know you write a lot of like screenplays or anything particular. Like, what's next for Dave Primiano?
I am in the middle of writing, which you've read the first screenplay. Yeah. I've done nothing with it. And it also, a lot of it during the pandemic, not so much the pandemic, but other things that happened during the pandemic. A lot of that screenplay aged terribly. I'm working on my alien invasion movie.
Okay. What's it called?
Has no alien. Space Flower.
Okay.
It works with the whole thing. It's another sinister about humanity. Like all my writing, it's just did I say sinister? I meant cynical about people in general.
Yeah.
Like the zombie movie was a guy that really enjoyed the world a lot more during a zombie apocalypse than previous.
Yeah, which is a good spin. That's never been done before, so I like it. Well, cool, man. I have like a bunch of concepts. I always leave with this question: What is the key to your success? If you could think about how your jokes are developed, and I'm talking about success. I'm not talking about I know you're not doing theaters and that kind of thing. None of us are. But I'm talking about the success that you have.
I was hoping the theme of your season 2 would be comics that fucked up. No.
But what would be the one thing if you had to give hey, this is the one thing that I do that leads to a great joke, whether it's that baby Hitler joke or the gynecolasty. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing that correctly. What is the one thing that what's the one running theme that has led to these brilliant bits that you do, whether it's a work ethic procedure you do or something? What is the one thing? I think it goes
back to what I said earlier, kind of like the audience are the dog. I won't perform something for I have to be entertained by what I'm saying.
Okay.
I know, yeah. Actually, it's like a thing I said I had a conversation with a heckler, 2 months ago or something. He was under the impression that his heckle, he was heckling to set me up some easy ones. Which I explained, a joke is a setup and a punchline. Yeah. Without you, we wouldn't just be up there yelling punchlines. Because they wouldn't make any fucking sense. So, yeah, but I told him, all right, this is the most standoffish thing I've ever said to anyone. I was very I think I know what's better for my set than you know what's better for my set. So it's kind of that attitude, knowing what's right for you.
Okay, fair enough. Good way to end this. Well, thank you, Dave. I super appreciate it. Thank you
Hey,
for being a guest.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, you've been great. Have a good night.
You can see why Dave and I are friends, right? What a great interview that was. I love sitting with Dave. I love making him comfortable. I love when he makes me uncomfortable. I love hanging out with Dave. It just felt like a cool little hangout on a more formal level with Dave. So go ahead, check out his rank bank. I'm a guest on there coming up, actually. And until next time, I'm Marc Stoudemire. Thanks for watching.